ReSurf changed my life to explain to someone what happened with me with that 3 days. I really don't know how to explain what happened in these 3 days. I don't have that word.
One thing about New York is that it will take something that might have been done before and might be known before and look at it in a new way and put a new spin on it and give it a new urgency or a new excitement. And I think the ReSurf guys are taking just the stoke that maybe we start taking for granted and bringing it to light.
Oren and I were just sort of sitting there looking at this old beat-up shack with a bunch of old boards that he didn't really care about. And at first, when this idea popped up, it was cool, but it wasn't a reality. You know, it wasn't something tangible that we could really do right away.
But in the beginning, it was so tough. Like, yo, can you give us a board? We're giving it to kids. Like, we're trying to explain it to them. And they're just like, well, you know, it's my surfboards. I don't know. I'm like, but you know, the ones you don't use, you have like 20 boards. Just give one away. You just give one away. It's not very easy to convince a surfer to give away a surfboard. The key was to get those boards fixed up so that the kids don't hurt themselves. and Carmen and Jacob were really super like making sure that happens. Airtight, you know, making sure no water's getting in and like no like edges and stuff like that. They did an unbelievable job. God bless them. It's got an excuse, but I got no use. Said I would trade your velvet skin just to feel myself again.
The amount of energy that's behind this thing is insane. When these boards were coming out of the car and into my garage, I was almost laughing at like, really, man? You know, this is insane. I'll never get this done in time. And I'm like looking at the boards and almost angry. And now I don't want to let the boards go on Sunday, even though I know that they're going to a great place and they're going to, because it's my piece of it is done, you know, and it's up to, you know, now it's up to these guys to really do the hard work.
It's great to see what ReSurf is doing, because it's a really small project. Like, get busted up boards, fix them. So it's great from a perspective of like, and this is something that was going to be thrown away, but we're going to like reuse it. To the next step is like taking this stuff and getting kids stoked.
We really want to show people that you can be an average guy and you could totally make a difference in the world. And it doesn't, you know, you don't need money to do it necessarily. All you need is a dream and you know, an outlet to do it. And surfing is our way of doing it.
We collected 50 of these boards. We all fixed them up. Some of them had like dings on them and scratches and all sorts of stuff. So we basically took them, fixed them up. Now the next thing we're doing is painting on them, which is what you guys are going to do today. You're going to paint on the surfboards. And then we hooked up with a youth village in Israel. Basically, like every year, like let's say there's 30, 40 kids that sign up from the program in this youth village, so every year another 40 kids are going to learn how to surf.
You know, I met Oren a long time ago. He was a little grom in high school, and the first time we paddled out actually was probably like on in Long Beach, probably a little storm surf, about a 6-foot day, maybe 7-foot day. And I got past the break and I'm looking for Oren, and all of a sudden I see this guy like pulling through. And I'm like, if this guy on his first day could paddle out past the 6-7 foot break, man, he's gonna be all right. And now he's ripping. We see what happens, one little paddle out, you know, what was it, like 10 years ago or so, you know, and look what comes out of it.
Ari taught me how to surf, and I taught probably like, I don't know, hundreds of people how to surf over the years. Right? So it's paying it forward. And the key to this whole thing, the key to the whole project, is to pay it forward.
It makes you feel kind of like you're doing something bigger than like yourself. Almost you're kind of doing something, you know, even if you're never going to meet the person, you're doing something that you know is going to help them. What makes it all that more fun and worthwhile is knowing that it's going to somebody who probably wouldn't have been able to get it anyway.
Not only are you going to be painting something today, but there's going to be kids across the world that are going to be riding this surfboard with your paint on it. So all the little drawings that you do inside here and create it your own, there's a lot of kids that are going to be able to enjoy it. Step on them, right?
Simple thing what we're doing. We're taking surfboards, we're bringing it back to life, and we're going to give them to kids. You know, it sounds so simple, which it's not, by the way. The behind-the-scenes stuff gets pretty intense. It doesn't take a lot to change someone's life. It really doesn't. We really are, you know, myself, Oren, Steve, we're totally average guys. I work a full-time job. I volunteer for another department. I know Oren's got a business. He does this full-time. ReSurf is this guy's life. Same thing with Steve. And, you know, we don't necessarily have free time. I know for me, I get 3 hours a day to myself if I'm lucky. And for those 3 hours, I'm on the phone with Oren, or I'm picking up a surfboard, or just doing whatever we can to help people. And I really think it's important that people see that, you know, we're not pro surfers. We're not, you know, maybe average, maybe, if even that, you know, we're just guys that love to surf and really want to give back, you know, because I know it's changed my life. I'm sure it's changed Oren and Steve's.
Mike and I just went over there, dropped off all these boards, and watched the magic happen. And like, it was just amazing to me. I just, at that point, then I realized that this is really special. We get to the warehouse, and we collaborated, like I said, with a bunch of different artists from all over the place. Some of them, most of them, they didn't even know each other. Like, first we walk in there, and like there's like a couple of guys waiting for us. I don't even know who they are, never met them before.
It was just an amazing turnout, and you know, what we thought would just be 2 guys showing up to paint boards that day turned out to be 15 or so artists. I can't even recall exactly how many people were there, but you know, 8 hours or 10 hours the whole day of everyone chipping in and tagging the boards up. Everybody was just stoked to be helping out. Kids were painting up boards, and it was just something really special that I don't think any of us really expected to feel that way until we got there that day.
When I walked in here, it was I just couldn't believe how many boards. I couldn't believe the smell of the spray paint. Yeah. And I kept thinking, you know, when does this ever happen? When does this really ever happen? And it doesn't.
And the magic just started. Everybody I feel in the room was just in such like cloud nine. Like it was like, whoa, we're doing something special. This is unbelievable. And those boards just started looking like such gold. You couldn't tell the difference. I mean, they were all gold, every single one of them.
I think it's great for the artists also, you know, to try to explore new mediums of artwork itself. I don't think most of those guys have ever seen a surfboard in their life, let alone painted one.
We have graffiti artists all over the city, you know, people coming from all over looking and saying like, hey, I never painted on a board before, how do we do this?
This is amazing. I mean, just, yeah, to get a board to spray on, first of all, and to, you know, have the freedom to just say, you know, do whatever you want, but knowing that a kid's gonna get it, you know, so you're putting your heart and art into like something that you know some kid's gonna ride and, you know, gonna be amazed with this board.
And they could just be like, I'm gonna paint something epic and it's gonna get shipped across the world and these kids are gonna just cruise. And I think it was fun. I mean, the energy was so high. I don't know if it was from the paint or if it was from, from the energy, but no, it was definitely an unbelievable experience. I'm stoked and I will be for a while.
Just don't know. I just don't know. I just don't know.
Seeing this warehouse event with all these artists coming together, no one's getting paid. Everyone's there because they really believe in the idea, and everyone's doing this for free. And it just, and you feel the energy in the room, and there's nothing that can stop this right now.
Just like so many artists came by. Every one of them were just, that is so special. Every one of them were like so amazing.
I'm still tingling from, you know, being around all this art. It's amazing.
I'm just stoked and I can't wait to see the faces on these kids. I mean, it's gonna be unreal.
These kids, like, they're gonna be so happy. It's gonna lighten up their lives. And that happiness, that like stoke, that remembering your first wave, riding it in, you know, even just a straight little wave. I mean, you're never gonna get that again. We all talk about it. Every surfer talks about their first wave. And like, that's what we're gonna create for them. And it's gonna be unbelievable.
חלק לעולם הבא. כל ישראל יש להם חלק לעולם הבא. כל ישראל
village in Hadass and Narim. They've just been so cool. The guy who runs it, guy Natan Baitin, he's just like unbelievable guy. The second I spoke to him on the phone, he was just like all about it. So cool. And they're right on the water. So just like a perfect fit. I felt like this is right.
The first phone call from Oren, I understand immediately that it's something that opened my heart immediately, because I understand that it's something that connected with the spirit of this place, bringing a new kind of thinking out of the box.
Learn our way of life, okay? By learning how to surf. But it's much, much, much more than surfing what you're gonna learn, okay?
One thing we're gonna ask from you guys, not much. It's just what we teach you, what they teach you guys here, is to learn how to surf this beautiful, like, love of the ocean, and through it, you guys are gonna teach it to other people and be able to bring positivity through surfing to the world. And that's our objective, and that's really what we're trying to do here.
לעומק, בדיוק, יפה אמרת, תן פה 5, זה גם אומר שהים יורד, אבל גם יש לנו סחף לעומק. בגלל זה צריך לשים לב שלא נדחפים עמוק מדי, אוקיי? כל הזמן להסתכל על המיקום.
Almost like that, it doesn't have a balance, but if it changes it, it doesn't understand why. יש שתי סוגים, גופי.
I'll show you a way. Leave your fear behind. There are things that you can't do. In heaven, you got to come down. Walking through the galleries, the dirty alleys, snapshots of your life, what you could have been, and who you are. Always burning, always.
You get stoked again when you see how excited they are, and you remember that first time that maybe you stood up, or the first time that you cut across a wave, and it keeps you excited about it.
I can remember my first day surfing. You know, it was just such a feeling of euphoria. You know, it really can't be put into words, but surfing is one of those things that once you get the hang of it, you're in love with that forever.
I think that what we're giving to those kids, and I'm saying from my own experience as a kid that growed in the water, is something that they will have for the rest of their life. Actually, you can say that we teach them how to surf and how to be in the water, but we prefer to say that we're teaching them a way of life.
I saw kids getting frustrated. And I know it sounds crazy, but I was actually really happy they were getting frustrated, because I knew that meant that they were really, like, they really wanted to do it, you know? They were getting mad because they didn't catch a good wave. So I knew that you know, that was going to be something that they're going to cherish forever, you know?
When they got out of the water, they've been tired, but so happy. Their eyes got a special look, and they've been exhausted, but very, very happy. And they feel that, wow, I could make it.
Long before the winter had passed, while we still had our dreams, you used to say there would be better.
People were giving them away because they didn't want them anymore. And we decided to collect all the boards that nobody wanted anymore, and we were going to fix them special just for you guys.
To take both things and combine between them, the recycling and the surfing, and to mix them together and to decided to spread it all over the world. It's amazing.
אנחנו רוצים לפתוח בצורה חגיגית את הגלשנים, כולנו נרגשים, הגלשנים נמצאים פה כבר שבועיים ואף אחד עוד לא ראה אותם מאז שהם הגיעו לארץ.
The most exciting thing that I can see is when I see the first encounter between a kid and a surfboard. And today with the ReSurf project, we managed to give a dream for 30 kids that dreamed about surfing and never really actually thought that they will do that.
What's also special about what we're doing today is we have Guy Berger here, who is also a very special artist. And when you see some of the art on the boards, it's going to translate over when we paint the surf shack later today.
What is really important for kids who are at risk or come from troubled backgrounds is to have the courage to make good decisions. And that comes from having a sense that you yourself have value. And what was expressed beautifully by the kids is it blew them away that people were coming from the other side of the planet to help them, who cared about them so much that they were giving of their time. These are surfers who come from all over the world to help us, to give us presents, to make something for us. It just really shocked them that there was someone in the world who cared about them as people.
I know surfing changed my life. There's no doubt that if I didn't surf as a kid, I would have been on an entirely different path. You know, I had struggles in my life just like a lot of people do, and I see some of the people I used to hang out with. And you know, they're not in a place that I want to be, and if it wasn't for surfing, I would have definitely been where they are.
Surfing really just changed my life. It gave me like an outlet to keep myself sane. I think that going over to help any children with bad backgrounds, it can save a life. Any kid who picks up a board for the first time and catches that first wave, he doesn't know what he's in for, and I think it could be a life-changing experience.
If you can share that feeling, that wonderful feeling that surfers have, and give it to someone else, it's just great. And it's brilliant to see that ReSurf is doing that, because they're giving these kids the tool, man, the fundamental tool for being stoked. It's not a Quicksilver pair of board shorts or Volcom or Hurley or whatever. It's like the board. They're giving them that. I mean, you can surf in a pair of cut off jeans, you can surf in a pair of undies, but the board, that's the thing, and that's what they're giving. They're giving them kind of that principal tool to get stoked, and that's very cool.
We've seen kids and we've seen the process. I know kids that has been in this kid's shoes, and I know them now after like 7 or 8 years after surfing, and you see the progress of the kids and the growth for independence, and it really turns their world to a better place, to a such needed place, especially for this group of kids.
לא יודע, כשאני גולש אז כאילו אני לא חושב על כלום, כי אני נרגע מזה, ואז אין לי כבר כוח, כאילו אין לי כבר אנרגיה נגיד לעשות שטויות בערב.
It changed my life. It helped me at the worst situation and really tough times, and I'm just glad if it could help these kids as well, because some of them are handling with really tough situations. I just want them to, you know, see the good in life and be good people and live happy lives, you know? And if me teaching them surfing has some part of it, then I feel really good about it. That's all. I don't need more than that.
By mid-morning of the second day, when we sort of gave them, you know, not just surf lessons, but life lessons through surfing, that's when things started to click. And that's when people started to get a little bit emotional about what we were doing, because they couldn't believe that 3 crazy Americans would fly across the world with 50 surfboards and show up at their doorstep.
And you could choose right now, this is the moment, you guys can choose to either just in one ear out the other, or you guys can take this moment and really embrace it. And you'll really understand what surfing is all about. It's not just about standing on a board and saying, whoa, that's great, you know? It's really all about heart. It's all about putting in that commitment and translating what you learn in the water to life. That you can use this as a tool. You have these amazing coaches, this amazing beach in your backyard as a playground.
We decided to take them to Tel Aviv, which there are breakers, and it's much easier to surf there. Tel Aviv, I think it was perfect. They had such a good conditions, even if it was rough. They caught so many waves and they were all excited. They were so happy. They said, like, I caught 50 waves this day. And it was a perfect ending for these 3 days.
أبا شمعون كم دعيتك كم أراعين الجواد أبا شمعون كم دعيتك كم أراعين الجواد لا دعيت بي ليلى لا سواد أنت أبي وأنا الولد لا دعيت بي ليلى لا سواد أنت أبي وأنا الولد لا دعيت بي ليلى لا سواد أنت أبي وأنا الولد أبا شمعون كن بعوني لا دعيتك في زماني أبا شمعون كن بعوني لا دعيتك في زماني أبا شمعون لا 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 لا
That's when the switch went off, and I saw the change in all of their personalities. The guard came down, the love was coming through, the high fives were left and right, the hugs were there, you know, and everyone was just having a great time.
It was really interesting to see them, as they spent more time in the water, literally brighten and lighten, breathe deeper, and just, even today, you can see it radiating the joy of their experience.
To have people just come out of the woodwork like David and just, you know, dedicate his time and energy to helping us build a shack. I'm not sure where the guy showed up with a drill when we couldn't find one, but you know, David dedicating his time and all the surf instructors, we really created a family. You know, Guy Berger dedicating 3 days of his time. I mean, 3 days is a significant amount of time for someone to give up, to work for no pay, and to spend all that time to paint that shack with us. It really means a lot.
I thought about just in 3 days what we accomplished, and just the sheer size of the thing, and meeting with the guys and saying this looks great, it's going to be awesome. And then just 3 days we done so much, and I think about how it contributes to everything, like the kids and the ocean. And I was filled with joy and these feelings of really accomplish a little dream of mine.
The street lamps and the buildings are staring down at me, and I am stumbling. I call you on the phone to tell you that I love you, but I'm mumbling. The clock inside my head comes ticking.
It's a huge gift to be able to, again, give access to this precious thing that we do, that we love, that gives us breath and life and joy of surfing. And it's just a wonderful thing. And you can see it in the kids' eyes. I could see just in the 3 days a real lightening of their spirits.
To be able to affect them and give them that stoke that we got when we were younger, somebody took us out, like that, remember, like that big brother type of figure that can just like lighten up your life.
When I'm surf, I don't think about another thing. I don't think about bad things. I just clean my head and that's all. I think about surfing and that's all. When I start, it was hard. But when you're trying more and more and more, you learn. And you feel good when you stand on the board and you see that you're on the wave and you feel like the king of the world.
As I scrub the magic lamp, you appear translucently to grant me wishes.
Even if we teach 30 kids to surf and only 5 of them walk away, you know, with that stoke for the rest of their life, it was worthwhile.
What I found totally amazing was there was points where we were up at 7 o'clock in the morning, surf, travel, building a shack, and we weren't getting home till almost midnight some nights. And there was kids that were with us from before we went surfing till after I went to my room. I thought it was just amazing that these kids were so devoted. We've given these kids something small, you know, surfboard is not like the biggest thing in the world, and they've given me so much back in return, you know.
I think it's really important to be able to give back to something that you love. And I think it's important also to be thinking about, you know, continuing the surf community in an environmentally friendly way. And when we came up with this concept of recycling the boards, you know, in my mind, it was, we were keeping trash from filling the landfill, but we were recycling happiness to the children.
You know, they're doing it for the right reason now, and they're doing it without there being a perception that they're doing it to sell shorts and tees. You know, they're just doing it, they're doing it for the purity of it. They're doing it for why we go surfing.
This program, I believe it's much more than another program. It's a symbol of a goodwill. This program, for me, it was some kind of fulfilling a wish, a dream.
Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for being there for them, sharing with them, talking to them in the same level. Make them feel important. With those tools, you are giving me, the director of the village, to create another atmosphere, a second chance, and to give them the ability to feel success, which is the best moment for creating change in life.
And over the last couple months, it's really taking on its own shape, and the world is just absorbing it. And I only see it going to new realms and to new areas.
And I think just reflecting on all those little milestones along the way, you know, if this person didn't show up, we couldn't get the painting done. If this person didn't come through, we couldn't have shipped the boards. You know, so collectively, all these people really made this project happen. You know, we were just the energy and the force to like move it forward, but we could have only gotten so far without all these people dedicating their time and help. And I do think it's a special family that we've now created, and hopefully we can carry this on to another project.
אפשר להקל את זה, זה מתנה שאין כמוה. להביא אנשים מחו"ל, שלמדו אותנו לגלוש, שעזרו לנו, אין דברים כאלה.
There's a guy, Eldar, man, that kid is going to be a ripper, you know, and the next night, after the first night of lessons, I saw on Facebook, Surfing for Life, ReSurf for Life, sweet man. So I hope to come back, and I hope to surf with all these kids again, and man, I'm just really happy, you know, that's it.
לא חשבתי שיש אנשים כאלה שמוכנים לעשות כל כך הרבה בשביל כל כך מעט ילדים. וגם אמרתם בעצמכם שלא משנה גם אם 5 ילדים ימשיכו את זה, אז זה כאילו, אתם עשיתם את העבודה שלכם.
With every tapping lover that passes by, the stars bleed dimmer in this darkening sky. I know it's alright to be satisfied with this wanderlusting, and I'm still trusting the light ahead is not a speeding train, and these millions of miles were not in vain. But tonight I feel a little fragile and blue, and I would like to sleep next to you. And in the cab our lust will spill, and on the floor you'll get your fill, and in the morning we'll be still, be still. Every tangled, torrid web we weave, we're victims of our own make-believe. And I know it's alright to keep occupied with this wanderlusting, and I'm still trusting there'll be an end to this blinding rain, and these millions of verses were not in vain. But tonight